All right, Rabbi, say good morning. Let's begin. So we have a lot of very interesting Gemara ahead of us today. Let's begin. So we left off Pei Amud Beis. And the Meretz Hashem, we're going to pick up 2 lines up from the bottom. So before we get started, we have sponsors for today's shir. To thank 3 sponsors, Baruch Hashem. To thank Rabbi Larry and Mrs. Ziffer for dedicating the shir in the zchus of the upcoming bris this morning of their new grandson, born to Dovi and Atara Ziffer, B'shah Tova Mislachos, Mazel Tov, Shevizoche L'achniso B'viso Sh'ad Mavinu, Vizoche Meretz Hashem L'achniso L'Torah L'chuppah L'masim Tov. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. I will say a shir also is dedicated this morning by Art and Sherry Miller in honor of their 52nd anniversary. Mazel Tov, and they should be Zoche Meretz Hashem Ad 110 Shanim Tovos. And all of our shiurim this week are dedicated by Aaron and Alana Weinberg in honor of Yonatan Weinberg's 7th anniversary of a complete refuah. Hodu Hashem, we wish little Yonatan and Meretz Hashem incredible gesund ad 110 shanim tovos. All right, to all say, and with that, all beautiful. So it says the Gemara, Matan Arba b'Matan Arba. So we left off 2 lines up from the bottom. So Matan Arba b'Matan Arba, Hachanamish.
Rachel sponsored today for the yard site for her father.
What was?
Yeah, it's Ben Sion, Ben Yisrael, Errol Shimon.
Also, the Levitan family dedicates the shir this morning, creation of the yard site of Rachel's father, Ben Sion, Ben Shimon. Ben Yisrael Shimon. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, the Shem will have an aliyah and the family in a chama. Shkoyach. All right, so let's begin. Umatan arba b'matan arba. So remember again, we're trying to figure out the cases. We spent a lot of time yesterday focusing on the machlokes Rabbi Elazar and the Chachamim, specifically regarding waters of para aduma, into which you have foreign water mixed in. So the shaila is, what is the impact of that foreign water on the mixture? So if you remember again, we're focusing a bit more on the shita of Rabbi Eliezer and focusing there on the concept of yesh bila. Yesh bila, ein bila. Ultimately, again, when liquids are mixed with each other, do we assume that the mixture occurs uniformly? Or ultimately, again, do we say that the liquids remain separate and distinct? That is a fundamental machlokes, and now we're trying to read in. So remember, Rav Ashi was of the opinion that Rabbi Eliezer holds ein bila. So going in that particular approach, we were trying to figure out ultimately how to read into the other cases of the Brisa. So we're just going through all the cases. So we left off 2 lines up from the bottom. Today's daf is Pei Aleph 81. We're picking up on Pei Amud Beis 80b. 2 lines up from the bottom. So matan arba b'matan arba. We'll say if you have 2 different types of sacrificial blood mixed in with each other, right? So again, 4 application blood with 4 application blood, that gets mixed in with each other. Hachanami shenis arvu arba ba'arba. So we'll say again, the easy way to explain that case would be that what? Even if you hold ein bila, when we say you make 4 blood applications, what it actually means is you make 2 sets of 4 blood, two sets of 4 blood applications, assuming there's 4 measures, for exactly 2 complete measures of blood. So if you end up doing 2 sets of 4 applications each, you'll end up using all of the blood. So even if you hold ein bila, we're confident that ultimately all the blood gets used up, and therefore some way, somehow, the correct application was made. Arba. Matan arba b'matan achos. What happens if 4 application blood was mixed in with 1 application blood? Top of Pei Aleph Hamadaf. We'll say so we'll say, if you want to say that it's a case where ultimately, again, you have, let's say, exactly 4 measures of blood mixed in with 1 other measure of blood. If that's the case, if you remember when that case was mentioned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yeshua said that you're going to potentially be over on Bal Tosif. So hacha Bal Tosif mehecha. But I will say, how would you have Bal Tosif? Because according to this case in Rabbi Eliezer, you would make what? You would make 5 blood applications, 4 for one, 1 for the other, and therefore there's no Bal Tosif. Ela Amar Rava. So Rabbi will say, rather, Rava comes along and tries to reframe the machlokes Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim. What's the machlokes? So the Gemara says, Ela Amar Rava, Bebala lo plegi. In reality, Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim do not disagree when it comes to bala, when it comes to the concept of bila. So what do they argue about? Ki pligi bikosos. But they argue in a case not where the bloods get mixed together, but where what? Where the cups of blood get mixed together. So we'll say, when I say cups of blood, meaning each different type of sacrificial blood is still in its own kli. The kalim themselves get mixed up. So each and every one of the sacrificial bloods is separate and distinct. They're in their own utensil. The problem is now I don't know which utensil is which. The Rabbi Eliezer, Islay Rowan, Udrabbanan Lesluran. So we'll say now this is a throwback to what we saw already on Shabbos, which is about the concept of Rowan. What's the concept of Rowan, Rabbi say? If you remember again, Rowan was Rabbi Eliezer's shita, that halacha l'maisa, you could apply blood even in the wrong place and it doesn't invalidate the carbon. Why not? Rowan means what, Rabbi say? We view it as what? We view it as water. This is Rabbi Eliezer's incredible shita, that halacha l'maisa, even an erroneous application will not invalidate, because we don't view it as an erroneous application of sacrificial blood. Instead, we just look at it as an application of water. And if it's an application of water, by definition, it does not go ahead and take away the carbon. So therefore, again, so Rava comes along and says, the machlokis is not about bila. The machlokis is where you have multiple cups of sacrificial blood that get mixed up with each other. So the shaila is, can you apply them? Rabbi Eliezer says yes, because you could say Rowan, any blood that ends up getting applied in the wrong place, we don't view it as an erroneous application of sacrificial blood, we just view it as water being applied. The Rabbanan less through Rowan. The Rabbanan say don't hold of Rowan. Now if you don't hold of Rowan, then what do you do with sacrificial blood that gets mixed up? What do you do with it? Yishbach la'ama. You pour it out into the drain. I both say, we already saw, I know it's a little bit anticlimactic, but we already saw we'll leave the halacha l'mais in just a moment. So we'll say, so Rava says, this is the fundamental machlokes, where we get cups of blood that are mixed up, cups of blood which are mixed up with each other. Rabbi Eliezer says you could still do the blood application. Rowan, we just view any wrong applications as if they're water. Rabbanan less luhu Rowan, they do not subscribe to the concept of Rowan, and therefore again yishapech la'ama. Anytime sacrificial blood, we'll say this is the chachamim kedarkam. We've seen this shita many times throughout the Gemara. Anytime you have a sacrificial mix-up, the chachamim always paskin that what? What do? Discard. If it's sacrificial parts, then ultimately burn it outside of the Beis Hamikdash. If it's blood, pour it down the drain. Wherever there's a mix-up, by the way, according to the Rabban, wherever there's a mix-up, even if you know that it's rove, quote-unquote, kosher items, anytime there's a sacrificial mix-up, we discard the mixture. So the Gemara says, is that true, that Rabbi Eliezer and the Chum don't disagree in the case of Baal with regard to Bila? That Tanya, Rabbi Huda, Lo nechluku Rabbi Eliezer v'chachamim al dam chatos shenes arev b'dam ola sheyikrav. But yet again, Abba, so we have over here Rabbi Huda saying as follows, that Rabbi Eliezer and the chachamim don't disagree on the case of dam chatos that got mixed up with dam ola, that you offer it, that you could offer it on the mizbeach. So that will say that case they agree. Berova v'nirva shelo yikrav. So we'll say they also agree that what? They also agree. Now, by the way, if you look at Rashi for just a moment, it's Rashi of the first of the intermediate wide lines. Sheyakriv, Terabana nami lesluhu roen umas nisan lav Rabbi Hudi. Now, both say. Now, here's what's very interesting. What did Rabbi Hudi just say? This is the moment where everything gets exciting. So now, both say. What did Rabbi Hudi just say? Rabbi Hudi just said that both the Rabbanan and Rabbi Eliezer agree that if you have dam chatos and dam ola that get mixed together, sheyakriv, you could put it on the mizbeach. Now, both say. Remember again. Let's go back. Let's do our halachas. We're talking now. By the way, I realized also as I was thinking about this yesterday that we have to draw a very important distinction between bird offerings and animal offerings. Bird offerings, blood of the ola is lemala michotas sikra, chatas is below. Animal offerings, it's the reverse. Ola is below chotas sikra, chatas is above. If you have blood of an ola and chatas that get mixed together, if the Bryce is telling me now, Rabbi is telling me now that both Rabbi Eliezer and the Rabbanon agree that you applied that blood, then what does that mean? So also, what do you do when you're applying that blood? So by Pashtos, you're taking part of it and you're applying it above, you're taking part of it, you're applying it below. So what does that tell you? That they subscribe to the concept, good. They subscribe to the concept, and everybody's disoriented because of the change, the geography. So because that tells you Rowan. That meaning the only way to apply a mixture of sacrificial blood to the Mizbeach is if you subscribe to the concept of Rowan. Because what Rowan allows you to do is to apply a mixture of blood and to say the blood that does not belong in the particular area of application, that blood is viewed as water. If you don't subscribe to the concept of Rowan, then you can't apply any mixture of blood to the Mizbeach. So the problem now we have is, Rava just said, the Rabbi Eliezer holds of Rowan, the Rabbanon don't hold of Rowan. Rabbi Yehuda now comes along and says that both the Rabbanon and Rabbi Yehuda subscribe to the concept of Rowan, as seen by the fact that they allow you to do the application for the blood of the Ola and the blood of the Chatos. So the Gemara goes like, Berova v'nirva, so it continues on in the Brisa, Berova v'nirva, in a case where ultimately, again, you're dealing with an animal that either sodomized or was sodomized, shelo yikrav, so that animal cannot be offered. They both agree with that. Sa'aman nechlaku, so we'll say, so what is the source of their machlokes? Al dam tamima shenis ari b'dam ba'alas mum. So we'll say their machlokes ultimately is in a case of where you have blood of a tamim animal, meaning a proper sacrificial animal, that got mixed together with the blood of a ba'alas mum. So we'll say, what happens in that case? Good morning, Mr. Schoenfeld. Rabbi Eliezer Omer Yakriv Bein Bebalo Bein Bekosos. Rabbi Eliezer holds that you go ahead and you sacrifice it. Whether the liquids, meaning the actual blood, is mixed together, or whether it's just a question of the cups of blood being mixed up, the Chachamim say, Lo Yakriv. You do not go ahead and offer it up. So we'll say, let's look at Rashi for just a moment. It's the second of the intermediate lines. Rashi, Rabbi Eliezer Omer Yakriv, Vafilu Lo Karav Echad Mehem, the Darish Mum Bam Lo Yiratzu, but Lachem Be'ene. So we'll say, remember again, this is actually a throwback to something we learned last week, which is Rabbi Eliezer holds a very interesting shita that a mum only disqualifies when, I guess what's the right way to say this, when it's extant, meaning when it's by itself, when it's clearly visible on its own. But when you have an item that is a Baal Mum, that is mixed in with other items, so the mum identity no longer remains. Therefore, Rabbi Eliezer holds that if you have dam tamima that got mixed up with dam olas bal mum, or bal olas, dam balas mum, ultimately you could offer up the mixture. The Chachamim say you can't. Rabbi, so which the Gemara says, Rabbi Huda libid Rabbi Eliezer masni, bein mabala bein mekosos. So we'll say, so obviously we have a machlokes over here between Rava and Rabbi Huda as to the machlokes between the Chachamim and Rabbi Eliezer. According to Rava, the Chachamim and Chachamim hold the Rabbi Eliezer holds Rowan. Chachamim don't subscribe to Rowan. According to Rabbi Huda, both the Chachamim and Rabbi Eliezer subscribe to the concept of Rowan. To which the Gemara says, Rabbi Huda Ali but Rabbi Eliezer Masni be'mibala be'mikosos. So the Gemara says Rabbi Huda really holds according to Rabbi Eliezer, both in the case of balul, where the actual blood is mixed together, as well as in a case where the cups of blood gets mixed up together. V'Rabbanan bekosos pligi, and in Rabbi Huda's model, so the Rabbanan will agree with Rabbi Eliezer in the case of balul, but will disagree in the case ultimately again of kosos. Amar Rabbi, lo shanu ela. So we'll say Rabbi comes along and he says as follows. He says the machlokes is only in a case of what he calls tchilas chatos va'ola. We'll say look at Rashi for just a moment. This is now in the widest lines of Rashi, the second of the widest lines. Lo shanu hach plukta de chatos va'ola de masnisin de lael de amri rabbani yishapech la'ama. So we'll say now comes along Abai and says as follows. We have a machlokes. What's the machlokes? I have blood of an ola, blood of a chatos that gets mixed together. Okay, so let's just keep a simple case. Let's assume we're not talking about kosos right now, but the blood itself gets mixed together. Rabbi Eliezer holds that what? What do? I do the blood applications because he subscribes to the concept of rowing. Did Rabbanan say, what do I do? Chacham say, what do? Pour it down the drain. Abaye now comes along to qualify that machlokes. Lo shanu ella, what he calls tchilas chatos va'ola. So we'll say tchilas chatos means the initial blood application of the chatos and the ola. And Rabbi says, now this goes back to what we said before. What does it mean, the initial blood application? Where is the chatos of an animal applied? Lemala, above the red line. So Rabbi says, that's what the machlokes is. Because the Chachamim, Rabbi Eliezer will say Rowan, Chacham will say, you have two different types of blood mixed together. There's no way to do a proper blood application because they don't subscribe to the concept of Rowan. And therefore what? Pour it down the drain. Now watch this. Aval sof chatos va'ola, divrei hakol makom ola makom shirayim. Both say this is fascinating. So it says Abaye, but If we're dealing with sof chatos, now both say, what does sof chatos mean? Rashi says over here, in the widest lines, 4 lines, in shenis ar betchilas ola, shenis arvu shiyare chatos betchilas ola. So listen to this. What happens if shiyare chatos? Now, what are shiyare chatos? What does that literally mean, shiyare chatos? The left door. In other words, remember, you do zrika with a relatively small amount of blood. You don't need a lot of blood for zrika. So by definition, I would think there's almost always extra blood. What do you do with the extra blood of a chatos? You pour it down by the yesod of the mizbech. Remember again, there are 2 different drains in the mizbech, in the Beis Hamikdash. There is what we call the Amma, which is the major drain in what we call the Azara, the courtyard of the Beis Hamikdash, and then there is the Yisod. There was a drain by the base of the Mizbeach. So after you do the blood applications, you would then go ahead and place the blood down the drain by the Mizbeach. So bro said, this is fascinating. So comes along Abai and he says like this. The machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim is in a case where you have the initial chatas and initial ola blood mixed together. Rabbi Eliezer says, do this, apply it. Chacham say, pour it down the drain. But, says Abaye, everyone would agree that if you're dealing with a case of what he calls sof chatas, we'll say sof chatas means I did the chatas application, now all I have is what? The shirayim. We'll say, what do you do with the shirayim of a chatas? You pour it down, you pour it by the yisor, by the base of the mizbeach. Where do you apply the blood of an ola? Where do you apply the blood? Below the chotas sikra. Now, both say Abaye is making a major assumption, which is that putting something on the bottom of the mizbeach is the equivalent to pouring it down the drain by the mizbeach as well. Why? Because anything you apply by the bottom of the mizbeach will ultimately what? Seep down into the drain. So Abaye says something very novel. Abaye says, therefore, if you have a mixture between shiyare chatas, leftover chatas blood, and ola blood, everyone will agree that you're fine. Because what can you just do? What do you do with all that blood? Just put it below the chotas sikra. Just put it below the red line, and it's fine. That which is the ola and belongs there, belongs there. That which is the chatas and needs to go into the drain will what? Will make its way into the drain from there. Quite amazing. Aval sof chatas va'ola, divrei hakol makom ola, makom shirayim. We'll agree about say that the makom ola, meaning the bottom of the mizbeach, which is the place for the ola blood application, is you could put the shirayim there as well. I was about to say, even though up until this point in time we always assume that shirayim goes where, right? Shirayim goes where? Shirayim goes down the drain by the base of the mizbeach. If you put the shirayim on the bottom part of the mizbeach, recognize that it'll trickle into the drain. That's okay as well. So Amrullah Rav Yosef, no. Hachi Amr Rav Yehuda, shirayim tzrichin itztiva. To which Rav Yosef comes along and he says, no, that's not true. Rav Yehuda explicitly says that shirayim requires the itztiva. And I will say, itztiva literally means what? A base. That refers, if you remember again, from our images of the Beis Hamikdash, so the Beis Hamikdash had a bottom base that protruded. The drain was part of that base. So Rav Yehuda says, no, shirayim cannot be applied on the bottom part, on the lower half of the mizbeach. Shirayim has to be poured on the itztiva. So we'll say, V'chein Amar Reb Shimon lo shanu ela tchilas chatas va'ola. So we'll say, Reb Shimon seems to echo Abaye's sentiment, or Abaye's idea. The machlokes was in the Chachamim is only when you have a mixture between real chatas blood, in other words, chatas blood that has not yet been applied to the mizbeach, and ola blood that has not been applied to the mizbeach. That's what the machlokes was in the Chachamim applies. Aval sof chatas, but if you have the shirayim of chatas blood, va'ola and ola blood together, divrei hakol makom ola makom shirayim. Everyone agrees that you could just pour all of the blood out on the lower half of the mizbeach, because again, even though shirayim goes down the drain, putting it on the lower half of the mizbeach is good enough. Amar Rabbi Yochanan v'tin Rabbi Elazar, adayin hi machlokes. Rabbi Yochanan says, no, it's not true. There is a machlokes. Rabbi say about what? About what to do with shirayim blood. So Rabbi say this is now very exciting, because what's interesting on one hand is Abaye wanted to say they don't argue in all cases that both Rabbi Elazar and the Chachamim would agree that in the case where you're dealing with shirayim of chatas blood, which have to go down at the base of the mizbeach anyway, you don't have to put it directly on the base, you can just put it on the lower half of the mizbeach, and therefore if you have a mixture of shirayim chatas blood with ola blood, you're good to go, because you could just put it all on the lower half of the mizbeach, which Rabbi say now introduces us to a brand new machlokes. What's the brand new machlokes? Where do you have to place shirayim blood? This becomes now the new machlokes. So Abaye and Rav Shimon seem to hold that what? Shirayim blood could be placed anywhere from below the red line all the way until where? All the way until the actual base of the Mizbeach. Rabbi Huda says, no, shirayim tzrichim itztava. In order for shirayim to be proper, you have to go ahead and place them on the actual base, by the drain of the Mizbeach. So what's a fundamental machlokes about how to deal with shirayim? Incredible. Master of Huna Bar Yehuda. So also Huna Bar Yehuda raises a kasha. And he says as follows. Kodesh Hem, so we'll say the pasuk says this is talking about by Bechar. Right? Remember again, firstborn animal has sanctity, it belongs to the Kohen. So the pasuk says Kodesh Hem. So the pasuk says that the Bechar is Kodesh. What does that teach me? Shidnis Arev b'dam kodshim achirim. That if Bechar blood gets mixed together with other types of sacrificial blood, Yikravu, they can be offered up on the Mizbeach. So we'll say, so the Gemara says, well, what's the case over here? What is the case? So the Gemara says, my lav sof ola ubechar. We'll say, does this not refer to the case of sof ola, shirayim of ola, and a bechar? So we'll say, is that not the case that we're talking about over here? Look at Rash. Well, actually, not yet. Sof ola and bechar, ushmamina, makom ola, makom shirayim. And I will say, what do you see from here? You see from here that ultimately, again, the makom of the ola and shirayim can be placed on the same place, which also means what? On the bottom part of the Mizbeach. So this will be a raya ultimately, again, to what Abayu was saying before, to which the Gemara says, Ushmamina makom ola makom shirayim. No, not necessarily. Tchilas ola ubechar. I will say, actually, we're talking about the original shirayim blood of an ola. The original blood of an ola and the blood of a bechar. Now here's the issue. Both ola and bechar are applied lemata michot sikra, below the red line. So if you're telling me now that these two types of blood got mixed together, so to tell me that they can be offered up, you'll excuse me, but there's no chiddush in that. Right? In other words, the blood's applied in the same place. What's the chiddush? Umay kamash balon de'ein olin mevatlin zed zed. I will say, what would be the chiddush? The chiddush is that sacrificial blood does not negate each other. That's the chiddush, that halacha l'maisa, again, sacrificial blood does not negate each other. Hi mivalakach midam hapar midam sa'ir nafka. We'll say 1 second. We learn out the idea that sacrificial blood does not negate each other from the pasuk that says lakach dam hapar and dam hasa'ir. So we'll say, remember again, this is by Yom Kippur. The pasuk says that you mix together the dam hapar and the dam hasa'ir. Most of these are obviously from two different types of animals, two different types of sacrifices. Yet what do we see? When you mix them together, they do not go ahead and negate one another. So we'll say we already learned the concept of ein olos or ein olons mevatlin zed from here. To which the Gemara says tonight it's machlokes tanaim ika denafka lemihacha v'ika denafka lemihacha. I will say different opinions as to where everybody agrees to this concept that ein olin mevatlin zed, that different types of sacrificial blood do not negate one another. It's a machlokes where you learn it from. Massive Rava raises the kasha. V'krivu b'nei Aaron es Adam v'zarku es Adam. So we'll say the pasuk says that b'nei Aaron. This is also by Yom Kippur. The pasuk says that b'nei Aaron will go ahead. I'm sorry, this is not by Yom Kippur. This is the meaning of Sefer Vayikra. The pasukim say that b'nei Aaron will take the blood and they will apply the blood. So it says the Gemara ma Talmud Lomer Amud Beis Pei Alpha Beis ma Talmud Lomer dam. So we'll say, why does the pasuk have to say dam twice? Sheyachol ein li ella elu shenis arvu b'tmurasa. So we'll say, I might have thought that this halacha ultimately again of ein olin mevatlin zuedzu only applies to olos. Look at Rashi for just a moment. Talmud Lamar dam sheyachol ein li ella elu yikravu sha'af im nis arvu mechayim yikravu minayin afilu nisar b'asham. So let's listen to this. So I might have thought dafka it's only olos, that ultimately if the blood gets mixed together, you can still offer it up. Because even when it comes to olos, shenes arva b'tmurasa, that if they get mixed together with their temura animals, sha'af mechayim tikarev. Even if what? Even if we'll say when the animal is alive, if the ola animal ends up getting mixed up with other olos, even with his own temura, it's still offered up. So I understand in that case why when its sacrificial blood gets mixed up, it will be offered up as well. Minayim the rabbos told the ushlamim. How do I know that even if the ola blood gets mixed together with the blood of a toad and shlamim, that you could still offer up this mixture? To which the Gemara says, Mar ba'ani todu shlamim sheba'im b'neder unedava kamosa. So I will include neder, toda and shlamim, because ultimately, again, they could come b'toras neder unedava. They could be brought as vow offerings or as gift offerings in the same way that an ola can. Minayin the rabbos esa asham. How do I know ultimately, again, to include an asham in this as well? And I was about to say that if what? That if halacha l'maisa, the blood of an asham gets mixed together with the blood of an ola, you could also offer it up. So mar ba'ani esa asham shetan matan dalid kimoso. Because I will say the asham shares a similarity with the ola, which is what? 4 blood applications. Therefore, if the blood gets mixed together, ultimately you could offer it. Bechor umaiser upesach minayin. How do I know that if the blood of the ola gets mixed up together with the blood of a bechor, maiser karan pesach, that it can be offered up as well? Talmud lomar dam dam. So ultimately, again, the pasuk says dam dam to include all types of sacrificial blood. My love, sof ola ubechor. Both say, are we not dealing with a case of where we're talking about the shirayim of the ola and the bechor? Ushmamina makom ola makom shirayim. And learn out from here that what? That the ola and shirayim can be placed in the same place. Which Rabbi, remember again, we're still going back to that original statement that we saw in the name of Abaye. That literally shirayim can be placed where Rabbi say? Could be placed where? On the bottom part of the mizbeach, not just on the actual yisod. To which the Gemara says, no. Tchilas ola ubechar. We're not talking about shiur. We're talking about tchilas ola and bechar. Umay kamashwan. So we'll say, I don't understand. But tchilas ola and bechar, we'll say, what's the novelty here? What's the chiddush between tchilas ola and bechar? We'll say, remember again, where bechar blood is placed where? Bechar is placed where? Below the red line. Ola is placed where? Below the red line. Right? So ultimately, again, what's the chiddush of telling me that if these bloods get mixed together, then halacha l'maisa, again, you could apply them in the same place. Umay kamash malon, de'ein olin mevatlin ze'ezeh. Both say the novelty is to teach me that sacrificial blood does not negate one another. Okay, so the Gemara says, I don't understand. Mivalakach midam hapar midam asar nafka. But I understand. We learn out that concept. What's like? There's a mefurish raya. The sacrificial blood does not negate. One type of sacrificial blood does not negate the other type. Let's say, where do we learn that from? We learn that from ultimately again Yom Kippur. Because what's happening on Yom Kippur? The Kohen Gadol is taking the dam hapar, the dam hasoyer, he's mixing it together and he's applying it. And I both say that mixture is taking place when? Before application. Now, if you hold that dam is mevatlin zeh, then what? Then the application should be invalid because he's never effectively doing zrika on the dam hapar and the dam hasoyer. The fact that the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur can mix the bloods together, ultimately, and still sprinkle it, and biyotze tells me that ein dam mevatlin zeh. So I already learned out that concept from Yom Kippur, to which the Gemara says, you're right, Tanahi, everyone agrees with the concept, it's just a machlokis where you learn it out from. Tanahi, ika denafkele mehacha, v'ika denafkele mehacha. V'hani tanoi mivalakach ta'apar midam asar, lo yafi. So we'll say, is that true? That ultimately, again, these Tanaim, who learn it out from Malakach ta'apar lakach asar, they don't learn out from an alternate source. Kasavri ein ma'arvin lekranos. We'll say, ultimately, again, they hold that we do not mix bloods. Ultimately, again, they need to be applied on the corners of the mizbeach. Midam dam lo yolif. So why don't they learn out from dam dam? So the Gemara says dam dam lo mashmaluhu ella mikodeshem. My time lo yalfi. So why not learn it out from the phrase of osai kodeshem, that even once they're mixed together, ultimately again they still retain their sanctity. To which the Gemara says kasavri kodesh heim heim craven ve'in tumurasa kreva. I will say because they say that teaches me that what kodesh heim means the bechor itself is kodesh, but the temura will not be offered up. V'idach, and I will say the other opinion, nafkelei me'im shor im seh lahashemu. We'll see here out that same concept ultimately again from the pasuk of im shor im seh. Hu karav ve'temurasa kreva teaches me that only the actual carbon is offered up, but the temura of that carbon will not be offered up. Tashma. Nasan lemala v'lo nimlach. So remember again, going back to the brisa, what happens if there was a mixture of the blood and the Kohen applied it lemala above the red line v'lo nimlach, and he did so without asking a shaila as to what the correct course of action was. So what's the halacha? Elu v'elu modim sheyachzer v'yitin lemata. Everyone agrees that what? He goes back and he does another blood application below the line. And ultimately, again, both applications will work. So we'll say, what's the case? My love, di'i arav chatas va'ola. Are we not talking about where what? There's a mixture of chatas and ola blood together. So now what happens? What's the case, Rabbi? I have a mixture of chatas and ola blood. I'm the Kohen. I didn't ask a shayla. I go ahead and I do the applications above, and then I do the applications below. So the Brisa says that I'm Yotzei. Now watch this. Now once I do the applications above, so the applications above tells me that if there's chatas blood mixed in there, I've sufficiently discharged the obligation to do zrika on the chatas. Which means Rabbi say, what's left in that mixture? So again, watch this. So I have a mixture of chatas and ola blood together. I didn't ask the shayla. Instead, I went ahead and I did the application lamala michot asik. I did the application above the line. Now that I did the application above the line, we assume I did zrika on chatas blood. What's left in the mixture? Two things. Number one, shiare chatas. I have shirayim from chatas blood, and number two, ola blood. So the Gemara says, havelu shirayim. Once I went and I did the application above, havelu shirayim, it's shirayim of chatas below. V'katani elu v'elu modim sheyachzer v'yitin lamata. What does the Rabbi say? After I did the application above the line, everyone agrees that's what? I do the remainder of the application below the line. So what am I putting below the line, Rabbi say? I'm putting again ola blood and shiare chatas. What do you see from here? Ushma mina, makam ola, makam shirayim. Oh, I'm a for shirayim. What do you see from here? That I will say that you could place shirayim not only on the base of the mizbeach, but you're permitted to put shirayim even where? Even on the bottom part of the mizbeach. Kiyasser Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef Amar. What's happening over here? I will say, what's the case? They send Eretz Yisrael hachamay askinon kigom di'i arev chatas hachitzona b'shirayim. I will say the case over here is where what? Where ultimately again I have an outer chatas that is getting mixed together with shirayim. But if you look at Rashi for just a moment, this is Rashi right before the lines get wide, 2, 4, 6, 7 lines up before the lines get wide. Hachamay askinon reisha deplukta lemat lechatchila kegon di'i arev tchila chatas hachitzona b'shiyare chatas hapnimis. Oh, Rabbi say, what's the case over here? The case over here is where I have an outer chatas that gets mixed together with the shirayim of an inner chatas. The inhu shirayim stama hilchach nasam lemala v'lo nimlach din nimlach l'rabbanan yishbach tavilu nisanim bifnim v'shechazra v'nasam emechotz bekranos v'shelo b'mkomo aval mechinasam lemala havelu shirayim b'shirayim u'shneim b'yesod Rabbi Shmuel da'amar zeh v'zeh yesod ma'aravi. Oh, Rabbi Shimon. So we'll say actually we're going to see this case is going to be part of our next Mishnah, which hopefully will start today. So what's the case? So it's a different kind of case. This is where this ultimately again the chichatos, I have blood of chatos chitzona that is getting mixed together with the shiraim of the chatos hapnimi. So the Gemara says, Amle Abaye, v'neima mar kigon di arev b'shiraim. So why don't you just say ultimately again that it gets mixed together with the shiraim of the chatos hapnimi? Dilma hakamash malan afilu leman da'amar shiraim ma'akvin. Because Bob says it's coming to teach us that even according to Mandar who holds that shirayim will pose a problem by the mixture, will agree that if somehow the blood, if you lose some of the blood, it doesn't compromise the mixture. But didn't we set up the case of Bob says dealing with in yesterday's daf? Did we not set up the case as follows? Beruba al Yomim, where ultimately, again, the majority of the blood there was majority of the type of blood that is applied lemala mechot hasikra, which for our purposes would mean chatas blood. V'kayav lemala shir tachtonim v'od, and you applied the amount of blood above the chot hasikra as the amount of blood of type of blood which be applied below the red line, and then some, thereby ensuring that you are definitely applying the right type of blood above the chut hasikra. So the Gemara says, that works fine according to the opinion of Osei who said, originally ein bila, that liquids do not mix together uniformly. But ultimately, again, the way we reinterpreted it was to mean that the machlokes Rabbi and the Chacham is only dealing with a case of kosos, only dealing with a case where each blood was in its own separate kli. So Rabbi says, so just how do we paskin halacha l'mais in all of this? So remember, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of information that is unfolding over this particular daf. So first of all, in the machlokes Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim, so we already know how we paskin. How do we paskin? Like the Chachamim. And this we've seen already multiple times, that any time you have a mixture, right, of sacrificial items, we always pass like the Chachamim, that we pour out the mixture. We saw this already, that if you have a mixture of invalid and valid sacrificial blood or sacrificial items, you pour it out down the amma, and that is true even in a case where what? Where halacha l'maisa, even if it's not invalid, but you just have, let's say, a mixture between chatas blood and ola blood. We pass like the Chachamim that we can't apply it. We can't apply that. Rather, again, we just simply pour it down the drain like the Chachamim. That's how we pass halacha l'maisa. But I will say, what I do want to draw your attention to is how do we pass halacha l'maisa with this really riveting shaila about what? About what? What do I do with shirayim? Right? What do you do with shirayim? Because also we now see two very interesting shitos. Abaye seems to say that where can you place shirayim? You can place shirayim pretty much anywhere on the low, as long as you're below the red line of the mizbeach, you're good to go. Putting it below the red line on the lower half of the mizbeach is the equivalent of pouring it out by the base of the mizbeach. Rabbi Yehuda said no. Rabbi Yehuda said shirayim tzrichin itztiva. You have to place the shirayim by the base, by the drain. So how do we paskin? Supposed to listen to this. This is really very interesting. So this is in. I brought the wrong thing. Okay, I didn't bring the Rambam with me. Fine. So as I saw, the Rambam is. I just brought the Kesef Mishnah. Okay, so I'll tell you the Rambam. The Rambam is in Psuli HaMukdash in Perek Beis Halacha Yud Aleph. So we'll say ultimately again. So it says the Rambam writes. Kesef Mishnah quotes it. Afilu nisarvu shiyare chatas im dam haola. So we'll say ultimately again the Rambam paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. The Rambam paskins that halacha l'maisa. So shirayim can't be placed on the lower half of the mizbeach. The Rambam paskins that shirayim is placed by the drain. The halacha is you can't. So again, therefore, which I will say is fine because we've already seen any cases of these mixtures. You're already pouring it down the drain anyway. So the Rambam paskins that halacha l'maisa, like Rabbi Yehuda, shirayim tzrichin itztava. Shirayim cannot be applied on the lower half of the mizbeach, but rather again must be applied by the drain of the mizbeach. All right, so let's begin the Mishnah. So hanitanim b'fnim. Let's just begin this today. Hanitanim b'fnim shenis arvu b'nitanim b'chutz. So we just made reference to this above. If you have blood that is normally applied inside the Beis Hamikdash, that what got mixed together with blood that is applied outside of the Beis Hamikdash. So what do I do with this combination, with this mixture? So yishbechu la'ama, pour it out into the drain. Let's say, so this is the shita chachamim through and through. Anytime you have a mixture of sacrificial blood, pour it out. Nasan b'chutz v'chazra v'nasan b'fnim. Let's say, so now watch this. What happens? So we'll say first, I'll take a look at Rashi for just a moment. What's the logic over here? Why is it that we pour the blood out into the drain? Rashi says, the less lon roin, va'asr l'shanos be'elu mipnei achsherin shal elu. So we'll say, so first of all, again, remember, the other piece, by the way, is that the Chachamim do not subscribe to the concept of roin. Remember, what's roin, I will say? Just, this is very important just so to nail down. What's roin? Roin essentially tells us that you could always apply blood, even if it's being applied in the wrong place. Why? We view it like water. The Chachamim clearly do not subscribe to that idea. That's why they say anytime that you have a mixture of sacrificial blood, there's no way, you can't utilize it. You just have to pour it out. So if Rabbi say in this case, where you have some blood that is normally applied inside the Beis HaMikdash, some blood that is applied outside of the Beis HaMikdash, ultimately again, pour out the mixture. Because they don't hold of rowan. Nasan b'chutz v'chazar v'nasan mifnim. We'll say, what happens if halacha l'maisa, you went ahead and you applied, you in fact did an esina. You applied some of it inside, and then you applied outside, and then some of it inside. So kosher. Ultimately, again, the carbon will be kosher. Bifnim v'chazar v'nasan b'chutz. So we'll say the order over here is very important. If you did outside and then inside, it's kosher. If you did inside and then outside, bifnim v'chazar v'nasam b'chutz. Shabbos say, then Rabbi Akiva posel, chum machshirin. Rabbi Akiva says the carbon is posel. The Chachamim will say it is kosher. Now Rashi says over here, Rabbi Akiva posel. Rashi says, bechitzon. The Chachamim machshirin, bechol karbanos. Chachamim will say that it's kosher. Rabbi Akiva omer, kol damim shenichnesu lechaper, behechal posen. Rabbi Akiva says that any blood that is supposed to be offered up outside, but is brought inside the Beis HaMikdash, Shabbosai, is pasul. So Rabbi Akiva is again, any outside blood that is brought inside is automatically pasul. The Chum say that's true, but only in a case of chatas. Chacham chatas bilvad. Rabbi Eliezer Ma'arfa Asham, but says it even applies to an Asham Shneimar kechatas ukeasham. So we'll stop over here for today, but we end off again with a very interesting machlokes, now about mixtures of inside-outside blood. So again, apparently, if you mix it together, we Chachamim say pour it all out, but what if you didn't pour it all out? So everything depends on the order. If you first applied it outside, then inside, Chacham say it's kosher. If you applied it inside, then outside, Chacham say pasul. Rabbi Akiva says kosher, because the Chacham say once outside blood has been brought inside, it invalidates the sacrificial blood. We'll say to be continued tomorrow. Just a reminder, tomorrow is a legal holiday, or I should say a Sunday schedule. So Daf Yomi will Hashem follow the 7:15 minyan at approximately 8 a.m. Shkach and a mazel tov to Dovi and Atara Zif. I think Dovi left already. On the